Welcome to the Wildcast Podcast, coming to you from Wildcast Studios, with your hosts Adam Lund and Jeremy Boucher.
Oh, welcome back to Wildcast Studios for another episode of the Wildcast Podcast, your unofficial voice for all things Moncton Wildcats. As always, I am your host, Adam Lund, and I am joined again in this Hawaiian shirt, this time repping the Blue Jays, Mr. Jeremy Boucher. How you doing?
Very good. Happy September.
Happy September. We
Pumpkin spice latte season.
Are you a pumpkin spice latte guy?
Iced
Pumpkin spice latte?
Yeah.
All right, I hate pumpkins in general. Pumpkin pie, anything pumpkin. I'm out.
Not even like Thanksgiving? Pumpkin pie?
Nope, chocolate pie.
Chocolate pie on Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, well, I'm weird. You should know this by now. How you been?
Sorry.
Man, already
staying hydrated here. Very well.
Yeah.
Probably like the last hot day that we're gonna have until next summer. Fingers crossed. I am not a big hot guy. Well,
You're a hot guy,
I'm a
bro.
hot guy,
You're a hot
but
guy.
hot
Hell
weather,
yeah.
hot weather guy.
Yeah.
This will be the last episode with the Hawaiian shirt, as we will be. Well, I guess we're in September, but anything after Labor Day is no longer considered Hawaiian shirt season.
That's fair. Yeah.
So next week we'll bring back the probably golf shirts.
Golf shirts,
But,
hoodies. Not quite hoodies yet.
Not quite hoodies.
Hoodies is regular season, right?
Yeah, regular
Okay,
season.
yeah.
Which I'll try to wear a different hoodie every week of a different sports team.
That's a lot of weeks.
This year, now that we're on YouTube, everybody will see my
collection.
My wardrobe
Yeah.
coming through, and we'll give it a shot. I think I got like 5 or 6, so you might be some repeats.
Yeah.
But I'll make sure I don't wear the same one every week. So
It is difficult. I went
it
to
is.
grab a shirt and I'm like, did I wear this last week on the show? I got to make sure.
Do you do that? Because I do it now.
Oh, 100% I
right?
do.
I'm just like, I don't want to wear the same shirt every week.
Yeah. When we just used to record audio wise, we were just like, whatever. I put the same hoodie on all the time, and now I'm like, I think I wore that last week. Or
We have to make ourselves look presentable now.
Exactly. You caught up on Hell's Kitchen? Because I am not.
I am caught up on the Hell's Kitchen. Last night there was the black jacket black jacket episode last night.
Yeah. Will I be surprised?
Do you want to spoil? Can I spoil it for you?
Sure. I don't care.
So
I know we got rid of 2.
Antonio.
Yeah, I picked him. I figured he would.
And is it Megan? She's a blonde one, Megan.
Yeah, there's the one that was friendly with Josie, or the other blonde on the blue team. There's Emily and Megan. Emily was the one with Josie, so Megan is
Megan. Yeah, so Antonio and Megan didn't get the black jackets.
Now I got to go back and see who I picked last week.
Yeah.
On the show that I thought. I think I said Emily and Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, Megan, that's in.
Yeah, so I watched that, and then of course Bachelor in Paradise was on right after that, but I fell asleep literally during the intro song, so I didn't catch it. So
which can't happen next week. Like we got
little...
Jamie Tozer to give us a Sea Dogs preview.
That's right. I'll have to be all caught
Bachelor.
up.
So if you guys are all caught up, make sure you tune into the first 4 or 5 minutes of the show, as I'll step away and I'll let these two go to work on that show.
I can't remember their names. I just know there was two new guys on the show last night, and they were on a previous season of The Bachelorette, and they kind of had a bromance thing going on.
Right, yep.
So they call themselves the Smoke Bros looking for the Smoke Shows. So that's kind of their, I forget what their names are, but that they're kind of
something like that. It really
goofy.
doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, they're real goofy. I mean, it's starting to be a goofy season, but couples are starting to fall in love, which is all part of the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's starting to be a little bit of heartbreak, which is always disappointing to see. But that's the risk you take when you go on reality TV.
Yeah, that's exactly it. The other show that's getting closer to kicking off now that we're officially in September, Masked Singer.
Masked
Singer.
I would like a Mr. Bartender or like a Masked Caesar.
Exactly. September 22nd, 23rd. Just kind of catching up on it. I guess the Wednesday night preview will have a shocking double unmasking.
Oh, wow.
Thursday night we'll be joined by 2 wild cards. Everyone's back. Nick Cannon's back. Nicole Scherzinger.
Scherzinger. The one I saw without makeup once.
Yeah. Jenny McCarthy and Robin Thicke are all back. I guess they're going to have a bunch of confirmed panel guests. There's been a few costumes that have been out, Cupcake, banana split, Dalmatian, mallard, hamster.
Making me hungry here.
I know.
Not the hamster, but.
And the format, I guess, this year is Group A, Group B. And for the first time, the winner of Group A will face off against the winner of Group B for the ultimate final. So
Nice.
Kind of like a bracketed style, and they go through each other, and that's where we are.
I was almost a.
Yeah, you can tell that story.
I guess I can.
That was quite
now,
impressive.
So,
I was jealous.
Yeah, so I came across a tweet on the Massinger account about looking for some at-home audience members. And anyways, I put my name down, even though it said U.S. citizens only. I kept getting emails from them saying, okay, well, you got to fill this out, you got to fill that out. One of the forms was like a declaration of, I guess, secrecy or something like that, so that I wouldn't go and spoil it, or who was on the show and what happened. So I filled that all out. I sent in my ID, like 2 pieces of ID, and I got an email saying, okay, we're doing this on this episode. Here's the Zoom link. And so I was excited. I thought maybe I'd be a judge on Masked Singer, but then the night before I got an email saying that that recording had been canceled, and then I didn't get another email. So I was kind of pissed off about that. I thought that would have been pretty awesome. But
I was kind of happy you didn't get sworn to the secrecy, because that kind of takes away from the Masked Singer updates on this show.
Yeah,
if you know all the stuff, right?
Yeah. Well, it only would have been one episode, right? But
yeah.
But still, I still wouldn't have been able to talk about it. We would have had to cut this portion of the show out.
Cut
So
it out.
Yeah, Joey Gladstone, that didn't happen, and we're here. So so Masked Singer will be back in a couple of weeks.
Just looking at some of the contestants, we've got a combined 85 Grammys.
Oh, okay.
27 of those were wins, 3 Academy nominations, 12 Emmy nominations, 12 Razzies, and 2 Super Bowls, as well as 2 Lifetime Achievements. So
okay,
it's going to be quite an event, and there will finally be an audience. So let's get into the as always, you can follow us on Twitter for those, Instagram Wildcast Podcast, as well as TikTok, and like and subscribe on the YouTube. The quick question, I didn't really have one, so I thought I'd go with a tweet that I saw from our good friend Aiden about retro jerseys. Just gotta find that tweet again because I just lost it. This is awkward. It was basically the Mooseheads had their promotional schedule come out. They're having a retro night with the Citadels.
nice.
Yeah. So he said, I said it a few years ago, and I'll say it again. Maritime Division tournament with all teams wearing AHL throwbacks. Charlottetown, the PEI Senators. Halifax, the Citadels. Cape Breton, the Oilers. Moncton, the Hawks. St. John, the Flames. And Bathurst, the Fredericton Canadians. I couldn't agree with that tweet more. I know we've got the 25th anniversary jersey coming out. Are you a fan of the novelty jerseys in the junior hockey? There can be too many sometimes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
I've always been a huge advocate for, the Wildcats getting a new logo.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to be a huge supporter of any sort of AHL tournament or whatever it may be. I even go as far back as get the Wildcats at a Moncton Golden Flames jersey.
Yeah.
1989, Brett Hull, AHL Rookie of the Year. It's Mike Vernon, Joe Lotto, like they're Al McGinnis, Thurin Fleury, I think all played here. So that was quite the time. AHL jersey, bring it on. I know Mr. Irving wouldn't approve of this, but let's have an Alpine tonight too. Like, that'd be throwing it way back. It's not going to happen, but. Anytime we can get some retro jerseys around, I'm all for it. And especially like the 25th season, if you're gonna do like they've got it on their website like a 90s night to 2000s night, let's hope they have the jerseys to match the 90s night. I know they've got the jerseys that you see in the background there, but have the ones that they first had with the striping all the way down. Have those ones that you have to play into it. You can't just have a 90s night with some music and the guys wearing the regular jerseys. We're going to be all over those 90s night requests, right?
Yeah.
Music.
Yes. If you're paying attention to the show, which I know you all are, You'll be wanting to pay attention to some of the songs that we played during Wildcats games. There could be some prizes as we get down. I know that, some novelty jerseys, it gets to be too many. Like, I know Lethbridge did like a Western night and all that stuff, but I'm in for, obviously the pink in the rink jersey, or the breast cancer awareness, or the purple any cancer awareness jerseys. The Remembrance Day jerseys, they haven't brought those back.
No, there used to be.
Did they used to wear a lot when they were in the Coliseum? Was there a lot of novelty nights?
There was Star Wars, Remembrance Day, pink in the rink. Did I say Acadian?
Nope.
No, there was one jersey that was an Acadian jersey.
There was a Bass Pro one or something, like a camouflage jersey.
Yes. I can't think of the rest, but there's been a few. I mean, there's they don't happen very often. I think it's a great idea, but I just don't think I don't think it'll materialize. I think there's gonna be more planning that needs to be behind something like that.
Which is too bad it didn't happen coming out of this, out of the pandemic with limited fans and stuff. That's a great way to not only get your fans at the rink for a home and home between the Moncton Hawks and the St. John Flames. Home and home, you get to see the jerseys, plus you're selling them. So you're making money on these, make it happen.
We had the Hawks, right? We had the Hawks night a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, I think against a regular Bathurst. So it kind of, that's what I mean. It kind of loses it. If you're going to do it, it'd be cool to have the teams doing it, especially with, I know that Quebec had jersey announcements, and they got their old retro ones. Shawinigan's got like 50 retro jerseys.
That's too much. There's a limit. 100% support it. I would love to see it happen.
Yes, let's make it happen. Start the hashtag, Aiden. We need your help though. So, all right, let's get into the training camp report.
Wildcast training camp report.
Quite the busy week for Richie on the phones, finding spots for a couple players. Connor Richard is on his way to Blainville for a 2022 8th rounder. Jonathan DeRose on his way to Chicoutimi for a 2023 9th rounder. I'll probably stop doing roster predictions from now on. Last year we kind of went away. We weren't really the curse, as you will, but the past couple months, my roster style, it's not really working out for me. These were obviously, especially the Jonathan DeRose trade. It came right after the game against Bathurst at the Uniplex. I thought he had a really good game. I thought he played solid, but like Richie said in the article that Hatchard had with the Times, he deserved to play. And the Wildcats have 8 defensemen that can play in this lineup. And you had a thought that it could be Olsen, it could be Hamel, who could be dealt, and ultimately Jonathan DeRose fell to being dealt for a spot.
Well, I didn't have him on my. Well, let's think straight. I didn't have him on my roster.
No, I don't think I did either.
So it's.
I had Connor Richard though.
You did. I just do. I do want to make it known that the players who made the team were all on my roster. I didn't miss a single player.
Insider info.
So plug.
Yeah, no, you did very well.
Nice brag there on my part.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
So, yeah. I didn't have DeRose on my team. I didn't have Connor Richard on my team. But yeah, the fact that we were able to move these guys, Connor Richard, was a 19-year-old, so he could have easily went on waivers and we could have lost him for free, but managed to pick up an asset for him. Same thing with DeRosier. It's he can play. He can play in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get me wrong. He can play in the league, and it's great that Richie was able to find a spot for him in Chicoutimi. Feel bad that he has to play under Yannick Jean, but it's a good spot for him. He's on their final roster, so congratulations to him. And it's it's like I said, he can play in this league. And I'm just happy, he doesn't have to spend another year in Junior A because he's got what it takes to play in the next level.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. He deserves to be at the level. And, it's a 2022 8th and it's a 2023 9th. That's asset management because, A, this scouting staff has been able to find late round picks that turn into players that can make the roster, as well as that 2023rd. Who knows if that gets dealt for a player down the road? So anytime you can move a guy for draft picks to either improve your roster down the road or find a diamond in the rough is never a bad thing. The Wildcats as well had some roster cuts as they trimmed their roster basically to opening night roster. Earlier in the week, Sanchez, Saracen, Bajerjean, Volette, Baccaro, Richards, Matullo, Santinelli, and Hackett were released. And then just on the weekend there, Sheehan, Alex Mercier, Dimata, Lounsbury, and Luke McPhee. For me, I don't know if you saw a surprise in those cuts, but Alex Mercier for me was a surprise. I said it to you off. He kind of reminded me of the Shediac sniper Dominic LeBlanc in his first year. Every time the puck was on his stick in preseason, things were happening. He had 5 games, 7 points, so he was making things happen. It just, I was a little surprised that he was cut.
I was actually going to ask you that. But getting to Mercier, I think I think that the right decision was made.
Yeah.
For multiple reasons. I mean, if you want to get into specifics here, technically he is still only 15.
Yeah.
He doesn't turn 16 until mid-September. So he's, regardless if he only joins the team next season, he's still going to have a full 2 seasons to showcase himself to NHL scouts before he's eligible for an NHL draft. But mark my words, he's going to be back after Christmas.
Yeah.
He's only going to be in Midget AAA for half a season. He will be with the Wildcats in January. I don't think he will be the only one either. There's going to be a couple that will probably join the team after Christmas. But yeah, I think this is best for his development. He's going to be playing every night for San Francois, and he's going to put up some big points, and maybe he even gets on a Quebec road swing, and maybe he gets a call up. You never know, right? But he will be with the team after Christmas. Speaking of surprises, so just based on what you've seen in training camp, who would you say was like your surprise? Whether they made the team or didn't make the team, whether you were surprised they were cut. What was like your? It could be a surprisingly disappointing player. It could be a surprisingly impressive player. Who's your big surprise?
Well, I think it's Alex Mercier.
Okay.
He would be just, second round pick. We weren't sure what we were getting. We saw the shot. We knew what the shot could be. But to see the guy live a couple times, he gets it. He's in every play. He's making things happen. Not only on the offensive end, on the defensive end. He plays a good game, 200-foot game. Another one, if there was another one. Yeah, right now it's just kind of him so far that.
I've got a couple.
Yeah.
So my first one is Menik Saracen, only because, he literally showed, even when the veterans are around, that he can play. He was a player that I didn't know much about, but in the rookie games, he was one of the more, one of the fastest skaters, one of the hardest workers, always playing physical, going to the net, and he literally brought that forward to the main camp as well. So I think he's another one of those guys who, going to be one of those late round draft picks that turn into really good players. But my number one surprise, and is Preston Lounsbury. He put up some points, but this kid went like 75% in the face-off dot in training camp.
Yep.
Which is absolutely huge. He's clearly demonstrating that, in 2-3 years down the line, if there is a face-off in the defensive zone with, less than a minute left,
He might be the guy.
he might be the guy to take it, right?
Yep.
So this is, for a 16-year-old, that's impressive, really impressive stuff. And he showed his 200-foot game as well. Like he's everything. Every time he was on the ice, he was always doing something. So I got to go with the local kid, Salisbury boy.
Nice.
Home with the Big Stop. Best boiled icing cake around.
Oh,
yeah. You ever had boiled icing cake?
I have not.
Oh man, you gotta go to the stop. You gotta go to the Big Stop.
I've been to the Big Stop a couple times for dinner.
Yeah. Go to the Big Stop and don't even order dinner. Just order a piece of boiled icing cake.
Okay, because usually by the time they're like, "Would you like dessert with that?" I'm stuffed because the food is so good. With some time to think about it, the other guy that I would probably pick as a pleasant surprise is Yoko Matullo. The few games I saw him play, he was blocking shots. He was not afraid to battle in the corners. He played one game up here last year, but in this training camp, he didn't. In the rookie preseason part of the camp, he didn't show that he was out of place, especially when the vets got here, and he didn't take any shit from the vets in terms of being pushed around by bigger guys in that, especially in that game in the Uniplex against Bathurst. He seemed to kind of hold his own. So that would be those would probably be my two. But it was
tough.
it was very, like I said to I was talking to the bus driver Bernie there. Everybody wants to be the GM, picking players and talking until it gets to this part. There's some very difficult cuts that got to be made, and everybody wants to be the GM.
Can't be too difficult.
No.
I picked the whole team.
All right, well then I guess yeah. What do I know? Never mind.
Didn't get a single one wrong.
He's so good at this, That's why he's here, really.
I have an eye for talent. If you're hiring a scout, you can reach me at
Part-time scout.
506.
Part-time scout. I do need him here weekly to help with the show. We got a few games to quickly preview before we get a view to the other bench, so let's get on to that.
Weekly Rewind.
The Cats go 2-1 this past week, bringing their preseason record to 2-4. Does it even feel like preseason to you, or does preseason now kind of really kick in after the C-Shep deadline? It's kind of a rookie.
Screw C-Jep. Get rid of this stupid thing.
Yeah.
I mean, OHL training camps are only starting this week. What a dumb rule.
I mean, I don't mind watching.
I'm gonna start freaking out on the C-Jep rule more than I'm freaking out about that Cape Breton trade that their GM did for that second overall pick. What a stupid rule. My God, what's the point of having a freaking month and a half long training camp?
Because now the rosters all across the league are pretty much set.
Except for Charlottetown, for some reason has 40 guys still in training camp.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know what their exception is.
They're on the island. Maybe that's just
Got to
it.
protect the bridge.
Exactly. So Tuesday night it was quite a win, 9-0, in what looked like a Titan roster that was full of rookies, kind of like our first game against St. John. And then Wednesday, the few more vets in the lineup for Bathurst. We had a couple in there, and the Wildcats came away with a 3-2 victory at the Uniplex, which, by the way, if you didn't get to that game, get to the next one on September 13th.
Yeah.
Quite a nice rink, actually. Quite a nice rink. And then we finally got our first look at a team other than St. John or Bathurst, as the Wildcats finally traveled to Halifax, first time since October, to play the Mooseheads. Didn't take very long for these teams to not like each other. They picked up right where they left off.
The rivalry is back.
Yeah, it didn't take very long.
This game is easy to sum up. Goalies did make a save.
Yep.
And they paid for it in the next round of cuts.
Yeah, pretty much. That's and there it is. It was 7-4. I'm just trying to go to the game there.
They couldn't make a save.
Yeah,
they didn't make a save.
No,
we were talking.
Neither one of them.
We
really.
We were talking, and we were like, I know it's preseason. These games don't count, but at the same time, you're trying to win a job here, and you can't even make a save. You lost. I mean, I think, no offense to Sheehan, but you lost your job because of that game. And Gio, I mean, he's still around.
Yeah.
because slight injury news, but it's all good. We're gonna be good. But yeah, Gio's still around.
Gio was 14 saves on 18 shots, and Sheehan was 19 saves on 22 shots. So 4 goals and 3 goals. You can't. Moncton got out to a start, and then Halifax got 2, and Moncton got within 1, and then Halifax got 2, and then Moncton got within 1, and then Halifax just kind of took over the game in the third period. But it's just like you're working to get back into it, and then a goal,
we goal.
I
think there's one where it was I think Sheehan went to go cover it, and he didn't even jump on the puck. He just like pushed it back out into the into the slot, and there's one where it went like up in the air and came right back down. I mean, come on, man.
It was tough.
Yeah,
it was good to see a few of the guys, Barbashev in lineup, Peloshing. Pilat was.
Pilat.
He was Pilat.
-4, but like what, 3 points?
Yep, exactly. 3 points.
That's such a Pilat game.
Yeah, Thomas Auger, your training camp surprise there, or I guess not surprise, but guy you got making. He had a goal. Lexi Daniel with a goal, and of course Pilat with 2 goals there.
I said Auger was going to make the team like last year. I said that last year he was going to make this year's team. Like, oh yeah. I was like the last episode. I was like, watch for this kid. Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
That's why we.
What is that? Randy Orton comes down to the ring.
No, that's bang on. Yeah, but it was in my head. And it was tough to watch through the fencing at the RBC Center as they didn't have fans. We'll get to our next guest here in a minute and ask him if they're gonna have fans in the second half of the preseason. I think they were. I think he was.
Are they still at the RBC for like the whole training camp?
No, I think they moved. I believe they moved to the Scotiabank Center, but I could be wrong on that.
No, it's okay. We'll ask him.
Yeah, we'll ask him. But it was good just to see other teams, see some of the guys like Loshing, Barbashev, Langlois in the lineup. And, Halifax had a pretty decent lineup. I can't remember whose slap shot it was that caught Brady James just as they're about to change goalies. He takes one up in the melon. I'm just like, oh, that's a tough way to end your night taking a shot. He was fine, but that's a tough way to end your night. So yeah, the Wildcats, like I said, they're off for 2 weeks now. They get back on September 10th against St. John and Fredericton, and then they are back at the Uniplex on September 12th at 4 p.m. at the they're Friday the 10th in Fredericton at the Aiken Center, the 12th in good. Thank God this is preseason, man, because I don't have this under wraps, but I'll get it at the Uniplex. How's your water?
Watermelon's good.
Yeah.
I didn't drink that already.
How was the Propel? You found the Propel?
It's not mine. It was Avery's.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I stole it.
No. That's
You
just
should never drink out of plastic bottles. They're bad for the environment. Vote Green Party.
And that was our small political statement. Let's get to the view from the other bench.
View from the other bench.
All right, once again, we are back with another preseason preview this year in the Maritimes Division, and we're back again this week with a team, again, that we haven't seen. Well, we at least saw them in October as we preview the Halifax Mooseheads, who went 15, 19, 5, and 4 for 39 points before choosing not to participate in the playoffs. Joining us on the line is a play-by-play voice of the Mooseheads and friend of the show, Gareth McDonald. Gareth, welcome in. Been a while since we had you. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It has been a while, probably just about a year.
Yeah, pretty much just about that. I guess the first question, how did it feel to call a game without seeing black and gold of the Islanders and black and gold of the Eagles?
Yeah, it was very refreshing. We'll put it like that. It was good. I mean, obviously last season, it was definitely a little exhausting there, January onward, like you guys said, it was Cape Breton or it was Charlottetown. And I think that from a play-by-play standpoint, I definitely saw enough of them, but I think you kind of mentioned off the top the Mooseheads, kind of Mooseheads choosing not to take part in the playoffs. It's yeah, I mean, I think that Charlottetown kind of ran away with things last year when you look at the little 3-team Nova Scotia PEI loop that we had. And yeah, I mean, you do that from the end of January to the end of April. I think that there was really no doubt who the top team was, and it really was. It was a pretty mentally and physically exhausting few months. I think, for the players, for the coaches, and for the radio guy as well.
I feel like at some point you almost didn't even need your sheets. You kind of knew how the guys on the other teams were skating. When you mentioned a physically exhausting season playing the same 3 teams, being in and around that team, was it a tough decision not to give these guys a little bit of playoff experience, even though it was basically the same 3 teams? Was it a tough decision for the Mooseheads to opt out there? Did it just they kind of saw what they saw, and Charlottetown was head and shoulders above?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's it's always tough. I mean, these are elite athletes. I think everybody in the Mooseheads front office, they're competitive. The athletes are obviously very competitive, but
For sure.
yeah, it's like we said. At the same time, it's I think after months and months of seeing the same 2 teams, and like I said, it did take a toll. Certainly, mentally, there is that whole aspect to it. Same team over and over again, and I think as well the uncertainty element that was kind of there all year. It's you never quite knew what was going to happen the next week, right? Is the season going to get shut down again like it did the year before? And then there's that physical toll, like we mentioned. The Moosehead certainly felt that. I felt like, and I'd have to go back and check this, but it did seem like we must have played more home games in the first half of the year, because it felt like in that second half it was 2 weekday games a week. We were either in Charlottetown on a Tuesday and then back to Charlottetown on a Friday, or and then you're playing Cape Breton once on the weekend at home, or the next week it was Sydney twice. A Tuesday Friday game, Wednesday Friday. It just there was a whole lot of travel, and it felt like we were doing more of it. The Mooseheads were doing more of it than the other 2 teams. I might be just kind of making that up, but I know the other teams. I think when they were kind of staying in hotels on the weekends. I think they'd kind of hit. If it was Charlottetown, they'd play in Halifax on a Saturday, and they'd play Sydney the night before. So anyway, yeah, just a whole lot of travel. And on top of that, both the Mooseheads and the Eagles just dealt with so many injuries as well. Both teams were really banged up, really beat up by the end of the year. And it's like I said, I mean, if you go back, you look at the stats. I mean, Charlottetown definitely ran away with things. So I think that there really was, no doubt who the top team in that, the little 3-team loop was.
Yeah. A lot of teams are finalizing their rosters, including the Mooseheads. Before doing so, big move today, getting. I'll keep it PG here and call him a shift disturber. Zach Beauregard. I mean, I love his game. I hate playing against him. What's he going to bring to the Mooseheads lineup?
Yeah, and I think there should be an interesting dynamic with another player that you would know quite well in Zach Leroux. I know that they went at it pretty good at times last year, and this move may keep Zachary Leroux out of the penalty box a bit this year, I would think, because I know that pair, they went at it pretty good in Charlottetown and in Halifax. So no, I mean it's a huge move, because I think if you look at the Mooseheads roster, he's exactly the kind of player that they need. I mean, this Halifax team, it's for the most part really young. I mean, there's going to be 4 16-year-olds. They had 4 16-year-olds in the lineup. Next year, they'll all be looked to take a big step this year in their 17-year-old campaigns. But he definitely brings a bit of a different element. That hard-nosed, gritty style. He's a guy that is really good. He's good in the PK. He's great on face-offs. And I think with what the team is trying to do and establishing an identity this year as hardworking, structured club. I mean, he's exactly the kind of player, exactly the kind of leader I think that they wanted to bring in, and they definitely found their man in Zach Beauregard. And it's like you said, he's not a guy that you want to play against for sure.
Follow up to that. I mean, we talked with Pat last week about leadership groups down there in Cape Breton, and we've had the discussion here. Did the Mooseheads maybe just trade for their captain, or is it? Do you have A, can you break some news on the show? You're more than welcome to. B, do you have a feel on the leadership group that could happen in Moose Country?
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about him last year quite a bit when I was on. He was a player I know that I referenced his intangibles a lot. We talked about the skill level and what we expected scoring-wise from Zach Leroux, but I talked a lot about the intangibles of Elliot Desnoyers, and of course he comes out and absolutely lights it up, breaks out offensively, gets drafted, and then signed by Philly. But he's a player that definitely has all of those leadership, qualities, those intangibles. I know he was really well liked and respected when he was in Moncton as a 16 and 17-year-old, and he shows up in Halifax and certainly brought a lot of those qualities to the Mooseheads dressing room. So I think, my odds-on favorite right now to wear the C would certainly be Elliot Desnoyers. I would be pretty surprised if he was not named captain over the next few weeks. So I think he's definitely going to be a big part of that leadership group. But I do see Zach Beauregard here, possibly a guy that could wear a letter. He's a guy that doesn't take a shift off. I mean, a lot of the time, I think with, sometimes the philosophy there for coaches is, you don't need to give some of those, the older guys, the 20s, a letter. You expect them to be leaders anyway. But I mean, he could certainly end up wearing a letter for sure, because it's kind of a similar thing where he does have a lot of those leadership characteristics. I mean, perhaps we see, Zach Leroux coming off, just a stint down in Nashville at that development camp. He's going to head to the rookie camp, and likely stick around for the pro camp with the Predators. Just drafted, in the first round a few weeks back. So he'll be looking to take a big step forward. Might be leaned on to be a bit of a leader, I would think, in the Mooseheads dressing room. So I mean, there's no shortage of possible candidates, but I definitely see Elliot Desnoyers being kind of the go-to captain on this team.
The clubhouse leader, as you would say.
Yeah, as one would say, yes.
I kind of asked Pat the same question last week, I guess. Kind of just bring it kind of back to Moncton, but just your impressions on Dylan McKinnon so far in Moose Camp.
Yeah, I mean, I have been impressed with what I saw. I thought that game against the Wildcats on Friday night was the second preseason game that I got to call. I was really impressed with him. I thought he looked good in the training camp as well. It's you see that big, smooth skating right shot defenseman, and not entirely. So, I think he's a guy that kind of, when you look at the way he moves, it's kind of looks a bit like a Justin Barron at that age, right? Like they're kind of built the same way. They're both great skaters. I don't want to certainly put those kind of expectations on him, but, he's a highly touted guy, 5th overall pick. They'll be expecting him to take a big step forward this year in his development, but so far, I have been impressed. I thought he played really well defensively against the Wildcats on Friday. Made some good reads, stepped up, good stick, good gap. Across the board, I thought he had a great game. I was really impressed. So yeah, he'll certainly get no shortage of opportunities this season.
Basically these previews so far are kind of leading in the same questions. We talked to Pat last week. The Halifax, Cape Breton, and Moncton, they're all in that same boat with a goaltender that could take the reins, may be challenged. I know the game on Friday, you had said that it was Brady James's net. You and Scott McIntosh were talking about that, but Matthias Rousseau could really push Brady James. Like I talked to Pat last week with their goaltenders there. This is Brady James's net, or is this a 1-1A situation in Halifax?
Yeah, I think it likely is to start the year anyway. It is Brady James' net, but I think there's no doubt that as the year goes on, Matthias Rousseau he's really going to push him, right?
Yeah.
He'll push for that crease, and it's funny. I was talking with a buddy of mine. I think probably referenced him last time, Marco Raimondo, who is very familiar with both of these goalies. He was the former Mooseheads goaltending coach during the Memorial Cup run season, and he still keeps in touch with Joey Perricone and Cam Russell and the Mooseheads, certainly the management group there, the coaching staff, and he trains both of these guys, Brady James and Matthias Rousseau, and he was just mentioning. I was talking to him a few days ago. A playoff series back in right before the pandemic kind of shut down everything, but minor hockey in Quebec. He was talking about a U18 AAA series, and it was those two facing off, Lex St. Louis and Saint Eustache, and I guess everybody that was watching it, kind of blown away just by the goaltending. It was a bit of a goaltending clinic of sorts. So Rousseau really came on strong that year. He had a really good second half, and obviously his development probably took a slight hit last year, not being able to play games like everybody's in Quebec. But he's a real competitive guy, similar to James. He's makes really good reads, just really intelligent goaltender, great athlete, and I think you could probably say a lot of the same things about Brady James, another guy that's just really competitive. I think at times last year maybe a bit too fiery, a bit too passionate. Probably had a little bit of maturing to do, which it seems like he has now. He's another guy that had a chance to take part in that Nashville development camp a few weeks ago. Got an invite down there. So yeah, he's had a bit of a growth spurt, a little bigger showing up. All of this to say that, yeah, I think that the net, the Mooseheads net, it's in pretty capable hands with whoever ends up being the go-to guy. But at this point, probably Brady James net, but Rousseau will definitely be pushing him as the year goes on.
Let's move it into some. Let's really pick your brain now. Predictions time.
Oh boy!
So I'm starting to see some predictions, some Maritimes division predictions. Some literally have them finishing the same way they did last year: Charlottetown, Bathurst, St. John, Halifax, Moncton, Cape Breton. Where do you see this division going this year?
Oh boy! Yeah, love predictions. No, I mean honestly, I think if that's it's likely that could be how it all shakes out. I mean, I think that right now there's likely kind of those three teams, the top three teams last year. I don't think any of them have taken a step back. I mean, you start with Charlottetown. They've got their entire blue line that they had last year. Mm-hmm. It's back, and they were so deep last season that's the thing that really sticks out to me. It's they just got such a great decor in Charlottetown, and you add in Xavier Simoneau to that mix. He's exactly the kind of player that Jim Holton likes. So I think that provided again he doesn't end up going pro, and I'll need to check in on that situation. I probably haven't been following this stuff as closely as I could have, but no, I mean I would expect Simoneau to have a big season in Charlottetown. Patrick Gay is a player that the Islanders really coveted. I think Jim has said that if Lucas Cormier wasn't on the board that they would have drafted. Patrick Gay back in 2018, and he's a guy that they're really expecting to break out during the upcoming season. So I think Charlottetown's going to be really good. Bathurst, they go out and they add a guy that could be the best player in the league this year in Hendrix Lapierre, and he joins that really talented 2019 first round draft class. Riley Kidney and Cole Hawkins, and they made that move to bring in Jacob Melanson last season, and he's not a fun guy to play against. So they've got a whole lot of talent as well. Those kids were fantastic during that playoff run, that playoff series with Charlottetown. So I'm expecting some big things from them, and I think everybody's been expecting some big things from St. John for the last few seasons, and it hasn't quite all come together, but you can't deny the talent there, right? Yeah. There's so much of it, and if they can pull it together, if the Sea Dogs can get it all together this upcoming season, they're going to be a handful as well. So I know they've got some really high expectations coming into this year. So I think that those, could be the top three. I like to think that the Mooseheads, though, could be knocking at that door as well, right? There's a lot of talent, a lot of young talent in this Mooseheads locker room, the dressing room. It's, I talked about the 4 16-year-olds last year. They're all expected to take a big leap forward. Senna Peters, Attilio Biasca, the import draft picks who didn't quite have the seasons that they would have liked last year. They couldn't get into the country till after World Juniors. They show up, and Attilio Biasca basically shows up injured. He was banged up at the World Juniors, so not an ideal start to his Q League experience. Senna Peters dealt with an injury early, but both of those guys are back here in Halifax, and I know they've showed up to camp in fantastic shape. So big things as well expected. So no, it's going to be a really interesting year. I think I do think it's Moncton and Cape Breton probably a little bit behind on that rebuilding cycle. So I would imagine that they would kind of be the bottom two teams in the division, but we know that Dan Lacroix is a fantastic coach, demands a lot, and they were a thorn in the side of those teams in New Brunswick last year. The Wildcats were. So I think it will be a very interesting year for sure. It's going to be a very competitive division. Of that, I have no doubt. I will make that prediction. This division will be competitive.
Yeah, speaking with you enjoy having your prediction hat on. Last year, the Mooseheads were awfully quiet at the trade deadline, and I don't know how much of that was COVID related and how much of that was just get the team in, build this team, young team moving together. But, is this a team that, depending how it looks at Christmas, is going to look to maybe add, or is this a stay the course for one more year and, wait till the Charlottetowns and the Bathurst just kind of come back a bit?
Yeah, it's it'll be interesting. It depends on how these first few months go, obviously, and I think that Cam Russell will need to reassess once he gets to December. But obviously, this is kind of one of those all-in years for St. John. This is what they have been building toward, since the last time they were at. In the Memorial Cup, it's this has kind of been their go-to year for the Sea Dogs. So, obviously they'll be looking to make some big moves, a splash at the deadline, I would expect, and
especially if they get the Memorial Cup.
Well, exactly, yeah, absolutely. So, I could see them perhaps coveting a few players on this Mooseheads team, but. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens for sure. It's, Bathurst is clearly kind of pushing their chips in, and so is Charlottetown. So when you look at this core that the Mooseheads are kind of building around right now, it's obviously a young core, and you are looking off to a couple more years until this team is really competitive. And I've got a lot of faith in this group that they will be extremely competitive in, probably next season and the season after that. But I'm not entirely sure this is they're here at this point, but it's going to be a lot of fun to watch, and I know that for sure.
All right, won't keep you any much longer there, Gareth, but just last one from me. Finally, I guess getting back to normal, we'll be able to get to some games in Quebec. What are some of your favorite rinks, and who has some of the best food options for the media in Quebec?
You know what? I can honestly say in 4 years of doing this, I have not eaten. I don't think I've eaten in a single rink. We got takeout a few times after the game,
What?
but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not typically on air during the intermissions and stuff. And I will say the best poutine though, okay, how about this? This wasn't during the game. It's not at the rink, but Chez Moraz in Rouen-Noranda, very famous.
Right across from the rink,
poutine.
right?
It's right across from the rink. It's perfect. I met up with our current equipment guy, Alex Ryan, who was working for Valdor. He was Valdor's equipment guy a couple years ago, and he took me there after the game, which was really dangerous for him because he was with Valdor, and he was walking around Rouen-Noranda in a Valdor jacket, which is a big no-no. So I was a little bit nervous, but we made it out of there in one piece, and we had a fantastic poutine. So I will say, it's a great rink to call a game in. Rimouski. Love it. That would probably be my favorite rink. Obviously, the Videotron Center in Quebec City is a lot of fun. It's cool to be in there. You're so high up, right? It makes it's definitely a unique experience trying to call a game from that elevation. So yeah, and I will say this as well. You know what rink I really miss? The Avenir Center in Moncton, New Brunswick. We were not there once last year.
No.
Can you believe that?
No,
we
it's
didn't make
true,
a single trip. So, and that's going to be exciting. I think when the Mooseheads travel to Moncton this year, it'll be the first game back for Denoyer and Zach Leroux. So I think that's one. Obviously, you're going to want to circle.
Yeah,
maybe you already have.
And that I believe the only players that are left when they were here are Stewart and Daou. Langlois was the rookie as well. So
okay.
Completely different for them. You never thought you'd be excited to be on the bus, eh? Missed those bus trips after the year we had.
You know what? A bus trip to Moncton mixed in last year would have been okay with me. I got to be honest with you. Instead of making that 5-hour trip to Cape Breton, I can say that I'm from Cape Breton, but I would have preferred a few more bus trips to Moncton if we had to travel somewhere. That's for sure.
There we go. October 17th. Mark it on the calendar. Yeah.
I already got it.
There we go.
Perfect. Well, like you, we're excited to have the Mooseheads back in Moncton because that means we got regular hockey. So thanks for jumping on with us. We really appreciate your time and your preview of the Mooseheads season, and have a lot of good games. Hopefully, not success against Moncton, obviously, but we hope you have a good season on the mic there, Gareth. And thanks for joining us.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on. All the best this year, and perhaps we will do it again.
We'll have to. Thanks again.
Take care.
Thanks.
I didn't even realize that till he brought it up. I mean, Moncton went to Halifax both times. I think they won both games in overtime. I know they won one.
Yeah, Forche scored an OT Wimmer.
Yeah, that was a hat trick.
It was.
Wimmer. Yeah, he got a hat trick there.
Yeah, I can't remember the other one, though.
No, but it's funny. I kind of forgot that it was going to be Leroux and Denoyer's first time back in the Avenir Center.
I wouldn't even have guessed it, right? And obviously Dylan McKinnon's first game in Moncton. It's funny how you mentioned the Rouen-Noranda Poutine because
have you been there?
I haven't been there.
Okay.
Pat McNeil, I know, mentioned on one of our shows once. He mentioned the Rouen-Noranda Poutine, and Richie Thibault mentioned the Baie-Comeau Poutine.
Yeah.
Speaking of poutine, did you see that we have a Smokes Poutinery now downtown?
I did. The guys at work ordered it today.
Yeah.
I didn't because I had some appointments at lunch, but they did today. I forgot to ask them how it was. Have you had it yet?
I've not gone yet. It is on my itinerary.
Stay tuned to our social
this
medias.
Weekend.
Yeah, stay tuned to our social medias for that.
From what I've heard, the butter chicken poutine is the one to go for. It'll go in your mouth as fast as it's going to come out. So, I'm definitely going to test it out this weekend for sure, and I'll have some picks maybe to share.
Are you a spicy food guy?
I can handle some spice. Yeah,
okay.
I can handle some spice.
I cannot at all.
I can. I can do some spice. We had the the Cheetos mac and cheese there.
Yeah.
So we had the flaming hot one the other night.
Oh, how's that?
Oh man, it almost took my lips off. Like it's that flaming hot.
Really?
Yeah. I can handle my spice. You
Yeah.
know, I could do pretty good on hot ones if I ever got the invite.
Have you tried the cotton candy one? Or yeah, there was somebody shared a picture of that. There was a cotton candy. I'm like, why do we? Which we're gonna get a little off topic there, but there was literally a Reese's piece or a Reese's chocolate bar now with chips in it, with like Lay's potato chips. What do you need? I've never had a Reese's bar, cups, whatever you want to call it, and been like, you know what would improve this? Potato chips inside.
Mm-hmm.
Quit messing with stuff. Just quit messing with stuff. I think we need to get in the old Mazda or the Hyundai and take a road trip up to Rouyn-Noranda.
You know
Take
what's
that
funny?
really long road trip to Val-d'Or, Rouyn-Noranda.
You know what's funny? Where Megan's
You're looking at them.
Yeah, smokes machinery.
Yeah.
Where Megan's parents live.
Yeah.
It's only like a 4-hour drive to Rouyn-Noranda.
Really?
Yeah, like you literally go up some highway. It'd probably a highway that wouldn't be plowed in the wintertime.
Yeah.
But it's literally only like a 4 or 5 hour drive from where Megan's parents live. I've literally wanted to do it, but we're just never there anymore. But no, it's I've always wanted to go there. It's Rouyn-Noranda, Val-d'Or, just those small rinks with the incredible atmospheres.
Yeah. Well,
on my bucket list.
You're going to Ontario at Christmas, so maybe
it's
in and around there we'll get. I'd just like to go. I just don't really want to do that drive in the winter. So if they could play in the first couple months or the near the end of the season, that'd be perfect. But as for our contest, it ended tonight at 7:30, or I guess yesterday at 7:30 when we recorded. We had 6 or 7 people enter the contest. A few early ones that there's some notable names missing. But again, once the final rosters come out, we will reveal who had the most correct. And you'll win a $50 Visa gift card from us. Thanking you for just sticking with us for 5 years. We really appreciate all your support. That's it, man. We are done for another episode. You'll have to. What are you finding on there? What do you?
I'm seeing if they're on Skip the Dishes.
Oh, okay.
Might maybe I'll race it home. Hey, if they're on Skip the Dishes by next Tuesday, that's what we should do for.
Absolutely. We'll see if we can get Tozer in studio. We'll
for some smokes spitoonery.
Yeah.
What the boys up? They're doing their pizza reviews. We'll do a poutine review.
Man, you could make a huge success out of that. A lot of people enjoyed that when we were up in a Quebec road trip. But yeah, that'll do it for us. Thanks again to friend of the show and voice of the Mooseheads, Gareth McDonald, for joining us to take a look ahead at the Moosehead season as well. Like we just talked about, we will have probably Jamie Tozer on next week. We're gonna have him on. So no pressure to talk Bachelorette, Bachelor preview, and maybe even some Skip the Dishes poutineery. So if that's on YouTube, you don't want to miss that.
It's not on there yet.
Oh, never mind. I mean, we might still order it, but we'll have to see. Again, no hockey this week as it's Labor Day. So September 10th in Fredericton at the Aiken Center, they take on the Sea Dogs, and then September 12th at the Uniplex to take on those same Sea Dogs for preseason. Excited for the Labor Day Classic? Go Stamps.
Yes. The new mayor of Calgary is quite impressive, eh?
I don't even know who it is.
Oh, well, Calgary's new quarterback's Jake Mayer.
Oh, is it?
So he's the new mayor of Calgary.
I knew Bo Levi wasn't playing, but I didn't know what his name was.
Yeah, so he's actually been pretty good.
Nice.
They're
1-1 with him, right?
They are. Last week was a bit of So did you watch last weekend's game?
I watched the first quarter.
Okay, so here's how the game ended. Who cares about football? If you want to turn it off, you don't like football.
Yeah, that was the ending a minute ago. Now we're going to
So Winnipeg's, I think Calgary's got a 1 point or 2 point lead.
Yeah.
And Winnipeg's going to kick for the game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
Kicker misses it. But time count violation against Winnipeg, moves back 10 yards and then goes down the middle. Come on, wave off the time count valuation and wave the flag. So Calgary, actually there was still like a minute left when that happened, and then Rene Paredes missed like a literally 52, 53 yard field goal.
Which doesn't happen often.
Full 53. 50. Yeah. It was a little bit. It would have been his career long.
Yeah.
53 yarder to win the game, and we see he might have been a couple of yards short. But I think this
CFL doesn't start till Labor Day.
Yeah, that's true.
That's when the real season kicks off. So it will be Edmonton, Calgary, Labor Day Classic on Monday. Again, that's it for us. Have a safe and happy long weekend. See you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wildcast Podcast. Follow us on social media at Moncton Wildcast.